Counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Yeah, we'll be counting stars. Like a swinging vine, swing my heart across the line. In my face is flashing signs. Seek it out and ye shall find. But I'm not that old, young.
100 years of experience working in the industry, and they brought the best of all of their knowledge together to start GFI.
You got missing their honey buns, their honey bunches of oats, and guess what? Storks started flying around, babies were everywhere, okay? And so over 78 million babies were born. And so in business, there's something called supply and demand. If there's a demand, you supply with quality, you're gonna probably have a little bit of success.
Together, let's make a huge difference together, and let's do something that's never been done before.
Feel alive. I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be.
A powerful day happened in my life when Eric Olson came into my team. And then I started to see unbelievable things happening. You know, Eric made $300,000 in just his second year. And I remember him, he used to be extremely shy. But when he tapped into his dream, did you hear that one right there? See, everybody was given a dream by God. When he tapped into his dream, he was making $300,000 in his second year, and I'm his mentor. And he said, Greg, I'll make $1 million next year.
If it doesn't change, you know more about money, and then you can go and take action on being smarter with your financial decisions. So what I want to do is I want to go to the last slide because I'm done. I was not even going to get fired up. I was just like, this building, I'm going to try to match it. I'm going to bring my old energy. But no.
Little did I know that when the man upstairs is ordained your path, you can't change it.
This business, this industry is one of the greatest, the financial services is the greatest industry in the world.
I could lie. Everything that drowns me makes me wanna fly. I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. Baby, I've been playing hard. Said no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Lately, I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. Baby, I've been playing hard. Said no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Watch it burn, sing it a little less than I learned. Take that money, watch it burn, sing it a little less than I learned. Take that money, watch it burn, sing it a little less than I learned. Take that money, watch it burn, sing it a little lessons I've learned.
All right. Good morning, GFI. Good afternoon. Whether you're on the East Coast or you're on the West Coast or your Central Standard Time, we are here with Nate the Great, right? And Nate Nelson out of Mutual Omaha. I remember meeting Nate, in San Diego for the first time, and we were having that discussion coming together with GFI and Mutual Omaha. And Mutual Omaha has 3 different instant approval products. They are all in GFI, and we are greatly appreciative of this partnership and working together to better serve families. So without further ado, so much exciting times ahead, but I want to introduce Nate, our sales director of Brokerage Mutual Omaha. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you for all you do, and we're excited to have you this morning.
Thanks for having me. All right, everybody throw in the chat. Boo. Let's see it. Let me see your moves. Let me hear the boos. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Happy holidays, everybody. I know everybody's probably on the grind, finishing out the year. We got a handful of days left. I know if you're like me, family's coming into town. It's always a great time to reflect on a great year, start putting in goals and actions for the next year, start practicing the good habits now. We're no different, honestly, here at Omaha. We have had a ton of internal meetings really in the last week, specifically on, with my team, with me, Kevin Anderson, Jessica Mills. Kevin Anderson has a new internal sales support as well. You guys will all meet her as well. But just kind of doing some reflection on what went really well in 2024. What are our plans for 2025? How are we going to grow? How are we going to be better partners? And what we need from you as a partner. And so, I do want to share before we kind of dive into any product specific stuff. This is your meeting. If you've got questions, if you've got things you want to hash out, please throw it in the chat. I can sit here and chat all day, but look, it's your meeting, so I really want you guys to be interactive. Regarding 2024, it was our first year with GFI, like many carriers. I would say, there's been a lot of really wonderful successes. There was some speed bumps, that we hit, and quite honestly, I would say that just as my personality is, I like to take a lot of the onus or blame if things aren't going super well. And I think that the one thing I probably did incorrectly, or we did incorrectly as a team with GFI, is we tried to say, hey, we want all 10, 15, 20,000 GFI agents we want them right now. And that just isn't the way to do it. Quite honestly, I think we really should have specialized in saying, hey, this is the type of cases we're going to work on. This is where we're really good. Because what happened is I think a lot of people started hearing about Mutual of Omaha, and your first opportunity or your first experience with Mutual of Omaha maybe wasn't the most positive. And that really leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, right? So now they're reluctant to do business with us, or, oh, you know what, I can go to a different carrier. And so, I think the lesson that we learned is our product really isn't for everyone, right? We have a very specialized kind of place where we fit, we feel we fit, and we want to make sure that we are capitalizing on those opportunities. And so I'll review those today. But that's a place that we really have said that we got to get better. A place where I want you guys to get better. We've created so many resources out there for you. We've got dedicated web pages for GFI. We created an entire web page for GFI to have on our website. It's non-password protected. You can go in there and get information about underwriting. You can get information about simplified issue. You can get information about fully underwritten. You can get our products, what you need. You can get videos for training. I want to implore you to use that, right? Take that opportunity. We are a small team, and that is on purpose. We don't have a lot of companies have 18, 20, 25 wholesalers. We've got 4. That's the way we do it. And that's the way we are. We want to be lean, and we want to be super relationship oriented, detail oriented, right? So what that means is that, there's only so many places, me and Jessica and Kevin can be. And so we really lean on you, right? We lean on you and your leadership, whether it's, your upline or part of your EMD, or, if you're an EMD, you take some ownership and help your team understand where some of these resources are, because there's a ton of them out there. So I think that's a place that we want y'all to get better in moving into 2025. A place we really want to focus, and we've seen, a number of successes here, is I think we really kind of fit into 2 camps for the time being. And it has everything to do with our product and the underwriting capabilities. You've heard it a million times. If you don't know this by now, it's bad on you, because I've said it every time I'm on this call, or on these calls, or on trainings, and there have been many. We have got the lowest internal cost product in the marketplace, hands down. Do the comparison, run the cost comparison, look at the charges of what your clients are being charged from the insurance company in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 10. We are by far the absolute lowest charges, right? So that's a really big piece for us. Now, that's great. We've got this wonderful product. We've got to have the ability to get that product put in force quickly and efficiently, right? And I think that's where we've kind of discovered some of our speed bumps. Where do we want to fit with GFI? $300,000 and less. Okay, so if you think about $300,000 death benefit and less, right? Under $300,000, that is going to be our express, right? Our, what we call, you refer to as instant issue. This is our express platform. Okay, so it's going to include really 4 products, but 3 we focus with y'all is first our IUL Express. Our IUL Express, there have been many carriers out there that have tried to copy this product and haven't done very well. Okay, a couple of products came out into the marketplace this year we thought were going to be major disruptors. They didn't disrupt much business for us at all, because they're way, way too expensive internally. And they're showing these great numbers on their ledger page, but guess what? Those numbers aren't sustainable, right? So those policies will eventually crash down. And when you run them at a lower rate, they really crash. So IUL Express, we are still the absolute forefront leader in the industry with Express IUL. And I'll explain what Express means here in a minute. But IUL Express, Term Life Express, right? So again, Term Life, we have 20, 30, 10, 15, 20, and 30-year term. If you want to do a term life insurance policy on that Express platform. What does Express mean? Less than 300,000, right? Less than 300,000. And then lastly, we have a final expense. We have a final expense policy that actually goes up to 50,000, but is on that same Express chassis, meaning when we say Express, we mean that that policy should be approved and enforced by the time you're done talking to your client. Because let me say that again. When we say Express, that means that policy should be approved and on its way to being enforced by the time you hang up the phone with your client. Okay, so we've got all sorts of different opportunities there. It's a quick app. We've got text capabilities for e-signature. So imagine what happens is you talk to a client, you get on there. Hey, Tavares, I know we wanted to talk about some opportunities. We've got a great thing with this IUL Express. We can get up to $300,000. We're going to work through the application. By the time we get done with this application, I'll know whether or not you're approved. Okay, so then we start that application. I say, hey, before we get started, Tavares, I'm going to send you a text. It's going to be an e-signature. And what that allows to do is while you and I are having this conversation, the company in the background, they're gathering all the medical information bureau. They're gathering MVR records. They're gathering any information that might be out there that can help us move through this process quickly. So I'm going to text you. You're going to go ahead and sign that e-sign. And while I'm asking you these medical questions and going through the application, that work's being done at the same time. So we're not wasting any time because our time's valuable, right? Okay, great. Bang, I text Tavares, and you go ahead and e-sign that app. And as we go now, okay, great, that's been submitted. We're going to move through the rest of this application. Okay, 15 minutes, maybe less, maybe a little more, depending on how they answer. Goes through. You can do it on our website via e-app, right? It's quick, it's easy. It tells you, it flags you if something's wrong. It tells you, hey, we better stop right here. This is not going to work. We found some information, or Tavares is not going to qualify for this. So let's go ahead and back out of this app now so that we don't affect your persistency. Persistency is a big piece with this, right? We want to make sure we're getting good apps, healthy people, healthy-ish people, right? So we want our persistencies to be really, really big. And so we have these opportunities inside of the system to say, hey, hang on a second. This isn't going to go through. We may want to back out now so that this doesn't even count. This conversation never happened, right? So, but most of the time we're moving through and it's, okay, here we go. It's now, we're going through the application. We keep getting green lights. Great. Came to the end. Okay, Tavares, I actually just got notice that your policy's been in, you've been approved. Policy is moving to print right now, and you're going to have it shortly. So just like that, that's the opportunity for the Express application. Okay, so IUL Express, Term Life Express, and our final expense. Okay, so our final expense product, we can go up to $50,000, but the Term Life Express, IUL Express, I saw the question a minute ago, 300,000 or 299, 300,000. Okay, 300,000. And it depends on the age. As the client gets older, it drops to 250 or 150. But for most of these, we're seeing younger clients that want to get this done quickly, and we're going up to 300,000.
So Nate, what's the age range before it changes to 150 or below? What's the age range?
65 to go, so up to age 65, and then it goes, and then at age, I'm gonna check. Sorry, let me pull up. I think it beyond. I think it's 55, and then 65. It goes to 150. So all that information is on the webpage. I'll make sure I share it.
Hey, by the way, too, guys, this is so good for Christmas. Imagine today and tomorrow, you're like, hey, what did you do for your last minute shopping for your kids or grandkids? And say, what are you talking about? Well, dude, I got my kid a $1 million baby. Did you get one? Like, what? Oh, yeah, they're set up for their kids' college. They're set up for the future. Absolutely. They're like, what? Like, yeah, we can do it right now. Let me show you. Boom.
That's a great
point.
That's a great point. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, so 18 to 50, we go up to 300,000. 50 to 60, 250, and then 61 to 75 is 150. Sorry.
Okay.
But no, these are. And again, goes 18 is the starting age. It goes back to, you make a great point. We've got a wonderful opportunity. And again, every person that I've ever met at GFI is proud of what they do. I've never met someone who shyly says, oh, I'm in insurance, or however you describe your journey with your customers, I've never seen people do it so well and do it with such conviction and passion. And I think it's funny, man. Over the holidays, share that. I mean, share that. I always tell the story that we're going over the holidays, and I used to be a college football coach, and you go to a Christmas party, and you're the most popular person there. They want to hear about who you coached and what you've done, and all this stuff. And then the next year you go back and you tell them you're selling life insurance, and no one wants to talk to you. But again, it's about authenticity, Rico. I appreciate you saying that. Authenticity and passion and what you're doing. And it's a great opportunity, I think, over the holiday to say, you know what? I've had a great year this year. Let me tell you about, for the family members that don't know, and I'm sure most of them already know, but let me tell you about what I've been doing this year. This is how I'm bettering myself. And it doesn't just have to do with business, right? It's not just, the finance piece, right? It's about my faith. It's about my family. It's about fitness. It's about fun. It's about all those, about the 5 F's that I'm living every single day of my life. That's a huge, huge thing. And don't be afraid to convey that to your family. I think it's a great opportunity over the holidays. You'll all of a sudden start your January off just right. For those people, a lot of people I think over the holidays tend to kind of back off, and honestly, that it's great to spend some time reflecting. But man, now's the time to keep running, because I think what will happen is you get to January and you're gonna be so thankful that you did the work over these next 2 weeks. It's like I think I forget what you guys say, about Saturdays, right? It's like stealing a day when you work on a Saturday. You're going to steal 2 weeks over the next, or a week over the next week of the year. You're actually stealing days because not everyone's working. All right. So option number one for Mutual of Omaha, less than $300,000, right? Express, right? We want to do things quickly. We want to do it fast. Hey, I've got to have something done quickly. You guys all do Ethos. The reason you do Ethos, you sit there, you could go, Ethos may not be the absolute best product on the planet or the best platform on the planet, but it is a really good platform, right? It's speed, it's fast, it's efficient, right? So I would say this is where we fit in. We want to fit in. Marty Schaefer talks about it. Marty Schaefer, when he was at Ethos, he said that Ethos was trying to copy our IUL product. They were trying to copy our IULE product. He goes, your IUL Express product was so good that we really wanted to try and create that inside of the Ethos platform. So not taking anything away from there, right? If you're having a great experience at Ethos, keep running. But this is another piece, another cog, another feather in your cap. Less than $300,000, that's where we want to live. Okay. The next place we want to live is we have a little bit of a jump, right?
Well, Nate, before we go there, just to confirm, on the Express, do clients have access to living benefits as well with the Express?
Yes, they do. Yep. Living benefits comes on all those products as well.
Okay, perfect.
And again, our living benefits, very similar to other carriers out there. We do not underwrite for them. So you can be table, whatever. And we do not charge for them, right? We charge when you use them. Okay. So again, many companies are doing this nowadays where we're saying, hey, look, we want to make sure that we're creating an insurance product where the last use is death. Okay. The last use is death. We're going to use it for cash value. We're going to use it for living benefits. And the very, very last use, if we don't get to that, is death. Okay. That's what's called, it's not life insurance. It's insurance for life, right? If you think about that, when people talk about, life insurance, I don't know, it's just death insurance. No, this is insurance for life. And that's what we're trying to sell all of our products around. Okay. So less than 300,000, Mutual Omaha. Okay. MOO, less than 300. Make a little bit of a jump. Okay. And this is not your fault. This is our, I shouldn't say fault, but this is our shortcoming. We make a little bit of a jump. Now we want to see policies that are 2 million and above. Okay. 2 million and above. Now we're talking larger policies sometimes, right? If someone's writing a $5 million policy, that's a big policy. It's a big premium. What do you think matters to a client who's cutting a check for $36,000 a year? Charges. How much of that 36 grand is getting eaten up by the company, right? How much is getting eaten up in the gas tank versus how much is letting me perform? Okay. Look at those charge pages. It is real. Okay. When you have a $2, $3, $4, $5 million case and a client's paying 30, 40, 50, $100,000 of premium, they want to make sure that more of their money is working on an index, right? I want more of my money out there in an index earning for me. Okay. So that's where we win. When you get to 2 million and above, okay. Oh, by the way, we can get through that underwriting process on a $5-10 million policy from $2 to $10 million. We can get through underwriting without an exam. $2 to $10 million. We can get through underwriting without an exam. Okay. So how do we do that? As long as your client has been to the doctor within the last 12 months and gotten some sort of work done. They didn't just go in and get a, script refill. They didn't go in and just, I got my flu shot. They went in, they had a little blood work done. They did a physical, right? They're showing that they care about what they're doing on an annual basis physically. So they've had some sort of physical within the last 12 months. We can move through the underwriting process without an exam. Okay. So a $5 million policy, you can tell your client, look, there's a chance that we can move through this process without having to go get medical an examiner come into your house. We don't have to do blood and urine. Okay. We don't have to necessarily worry about medical records. Okay. We're going to do some underwriting on the front end. Okay. And make sure that you qualify for this. And if you do, we're able to get through this without an exam and without medical records.
Now, Nate, is that based off a certain age, based off in terms of
up to age 65? Yep. Up to age 65. And that's $2 to $10 million. Okay. So those are the places we want to live, right? We want to live 300,000 and we want to live 2 million and above. Now, I know a lot of people have policies out there for 500, 750, 800, $1 million. We love that. We'll take it, right? But I'm telling you, there are other carriers. I'm not going to, throw the carpet over your eyes or BS you. There are other carriers that do that more efficiently. Okay, I'm going to say it again. There are other carriers that do that more efficiently. Okay, $1 million policy, quite honestly, unless you do a drop ticket with us, for the most part, it's going to be a fully underwritten product, right? So we're going to have to go through and get an exam and get medical records. And I know there's been some frustration with y'all on this, but that's just the way of the world. That's who we are. Okay, we are a fully underwritten carrier with a little bit of an express side that kills it. Okay, so what we want to make sure we're doing is taking the path of least resistance. So if it's 2 million and above, I'm saying, hey, we're still great. We've got fluidless. We can get through this process without going through, full medical underwriting. But that $1 million range, I got to be honest, there's other carriers that might do it a little bit more efficiently than we do. Okay, so doesn't mean we don't want your business. We want all the business. I'm just telling you that when you go, how come you guys are asking for a medical record? I'm going to say, remember what I told you? We are not that efficient at that $1 million level. Now we're working on that. That's a goal for 2025 for us, is to make sure that we've got a seamless transition from 0 to 10 million, right? So that we can go 300,000 express. And then we've got this, better underwriting system for that $1 million range. And then when we get up to $2 million, we're already there too. Okay. So those are the places we really want to focus. And that's what kind of our goal is moving into the new year. Okay. I do want to set up, a couple of opportunities. Okay. So people often ask me, my first meeting in Cabo, not in the first meeting, it's actually probably my second meeting, but it's my first true sanctioned GFI meeting in Cabo. Got up on stage, had a chance to talk about Mutual of Omaha, show a few slides. We were one of the first carriers in the boat with you guys. Your business means a ton to us. Eric said, who is your number one distributor? Who's your number one? Who does the most business out there, right? And it kind of skipped me up. I was like, I don't really know. Well, we've done the research, okay? And I will tell you that on the express side only, I'm not even talking about fully underwritten. So I'm talking $300,000 or less. We've got multiple relationships that are doing 80, 90, $100 million of business a year. $100 million of express products. Okay, so my question to you is, right now, GFI is probably at less than $1 million. Okay, so next year, we fast forward to 2025, on the end of the year when we're having our meeting and we're going through this, I want to be able to say, oh yeah, GFI is now doing 50, 60, 70 million on the express side. There's no reason not to, right? I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like GFI is too competitive. But from my standpoint, y'all don't really like to be number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 out there in the marketplace, right? We want to set the world on fire. Let's set the world on fire. Let's go be number 1. So that's that goal, right? We got big goals to get to. Anyway, go ahead. I'll answer some questions from the chat before I dive into other things.
I think you answered some of them. I know Terry had asked, what are the ages outside of Express? I think, Terry, you got that question answered, right? And then you can go up to 65, up to $10 million on that too, right? To the 10 million.
Yep. So that's just for the underwriting process. We can go up to age 85, right? So
okay.
we wrote 85-year-old for $30 million earlier this year. We can go up that high. Now it's just
you said an 85-year-old for 30 million. Is that what you said?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. that was. I'm thinking of a different case. The 85, the 80. We had an 83-year-old, I think, for 5 million.
Okay, but of course, at that point, they'll need an APS and all those things,
Oh yeah,
right?
right.
Of
I
course.
mean, and just think about it, right? Like, the older the client, the more likely, medical things are going to be in their file, and the larger the policy. Look, we're in business. We're in business for a reason, right? We got a show on every Saturday morning that we pay a bunch of money for a reason. We got a big nice building for a reason. We can't just insure everybody and lose a bunch of money. We got to make sure that we're doing the right deals. So when you get into that higher face amount, older client that maybe has a few medical things, again, we're great at that. We are really, really good at underwriting in terms of there's potential issues with a client. It's just something that's going to take a little longer.
Okay. And the question came up as well too, Nate. Juvenile policies, do they have living benefits as well?
Only at 18.
Only at 18? Okay.
Yep.
And then what if a client is a diabetic, not a diabetic, but
Yeah.
they're
So
taking
great question. I'm glad this brought up. 2 weeks ago we were out in Charlotte. We were meeting all of our sales team, all of the underwriting team. Basically everybody that does business with us. We kind of had our big internal meeting, and again talked about successes for 2024, things we want to work on moving into 2025. One of the questions I brought up to our chief underwriter was, these GLP-1 medications, right? Whether it's a metformin, whether it's Ozempic, whether it's these medications that people are taking because they've got diabetes or because they've got some sort of any other medical issue. They're taking it on the positive. They're trying to stay ahead of health and be healthier. We're looking at those at those medications as no big deal. It's fine with us if someone's doing them for those reasons to stay ahead of their health. We're having no problem moving through the underwriting process, getting yourself preferred best, whatever case may be. It is very, very common. I know it's totally different, but I equated it to the marijuana from a few years ago when used to, there'd be something about marijuana in your file and it was like, oh my gosh, they thought everybody was Pablo Escobar. When in reality, it just has become a normal way of life and people are using it as certain types of medication. So GLP-1s are very similar where, these are used for diabetic medications, when in reality, they're being used for health. And so we've gotten there really, really quickly with how we look at those medications. I think it's a testament to, from an underwriting standpoint. And again, this is where if you've got a 45-year-old getting $1 million and they, hey, I want to do an application real quick. I want to get this in force by Christmas. Mutual of Omaha is probably third or fourth on the list there, right? If you're talking about, hey, I've got a 60-year-old who's, doing a $5 million case and there's some moving parts to this. There are some medical records we got to dive into. We're going to be great there. Our underwriters want to know the story. They want to hear about, tell me about why this client wants this, right? Tell me about their health. What's really going on? I'll give you an example. We had something recently where a client on their exam, they had an exam done. It was a larger case, and they had an elevated blood pressure. Right, exam reading elevated blood pressure. We were going to have to dock that. We were going to have to do some sort of medical rating on that. Client or agent comes back and says, man, the client is healthy. Like, I don't understand. Is there anything we can do? Underwriter says, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and I want you to have the client pull their My Chart, right? Go to their medical website, pull their My Chart, and have them look at their blood pressure readings from the last 12 months. And if they're within this range, have them send me those numbers. If they're not within those range, I don't want to know about it. Right. So this is an example of an underwriter wanting to get the business done and saying, rather than saying, looking for things to stop the case from going through, we're looking for reasons to get the case to move through. Right. We want that. We don't like declines. We don't like table ratings. Right. We are here to make money. We are here to actually make sure that these policies get placed and paid and clients get protected. Right. We are not in the business of declining cases. So anything we can do or anything we know can help. So, yeah, I mean, I would say that again, moving forward into 2025, I would say we've got a wonderful opportunity. We've got just an incredible product line. I think we just need to live in two sides of the house, knowing that, hey, you can come to us for anything, but I want you guys to come to us for what we're best at. And if we're not the best, I'm going to tell you, right? I'm going to say, hey, there may be an easier way to do this. if you want to get this thing done quickly. Now, doesn't mean we're not a better product. We are, but we got to have product and process, right? If you don't have the product and the process, it doesn't match up.
That's good. That's good. And question came up: if they are on Metformin, can we do the MOO Express?
Yeah, I believe I don't think that's an issue on the Express either. We are going to have, I believe it's coming January, where we are going to have what's called a sandbox. So if you go to mutualofomaha.com/express, that is our Express IUL website where you could pull up all sorts of different information. What we're going to have, I believe, at the beginning of the year is what we call a sandbox, where you can kind of practice, right? You can practice at app without actually, clicking into your persistency or sending an email to someone you didn't mean to, and so that you can work on some of those, kind of off questions. Another website that I would say is, I'll actually put this for the whole group, is discoveriul.com. Discoveriul.com. Make sure I'm spelling it right. As you're recruiting, as you're building your teams, it should be one of the first places you send your new recruits, the new people that you're talking to, the people that you're trying to get net licensed. Send them to discoveriul.com. Discoveriul.com is you don't have to have a login to get in there. Okay. It's going to have a lot of information about our IULs. It's got historical crediting rates, right? Someone goes, what does this do during how's this done in the past? We can look that up. You can look that up. There's videos on there. There's all sorts of resources to teach someone about what is IUL. This is what we want to try and do. These are the stories we want to tell. And Mutual of Omaha wants to partner with them. So discoveriul.com is huge. Can we call into underwriting? And if so, can we get a number? Yeah, but no. I mean, let's think about this, right? You're an underwriter. Let's say you're in sales, right? You're out here. You guys should be hustling to meetings all the time, right? You should be from one meeting to another meeting to another meeting, right? You got a 6 o'clock, you got a 7 o'clock, you 8 o'clock. Imagine getting a call right in the middle of your meeting from, the person you met with yesterday that said, oh, I have a quick question about this. It just skips you up and goes slower. So I will say, yes, there are always underwriting contacts. Utilize our website. When you go to our website and when you go in and you can see your case, okay, the hardest part about what you guys are doing is you have to be the salesperson, you have to be the admin person, you have to be your own case manager, right? And that's why you make all that money, okay? So you could do all those things. And so I would say that utilize the website where you can go in and you can say, okay, here's the case that I just wrote on Tavares. These are what's missing, right? These are the missing items that I need to go get. And there's a button that says contact carrier. You can contact the carrier. You can send a quick email. Hey, I just had a question about this. That email will get back to you within 2 days. Okay. That's a great, again, kind of goes back to how do I get to things to go faster with Mutual of Omaha? And really, I would kind of push back to you and say, utilize the website. Utilize that website so that you can see where exactly my cases are, if anything's stuck, what I need to go get, how quickly I can get that turned around. Utilize the website.
So Nate, just on a underwriting perspective, what's the cutoff for the A1C ones? If someone comes in as a diabetic or they're looking to, what's MOO's cutoff for A1C?
Yeah, I'll see if there's, off the top of my head, I don't know. I'd have to look into our underwriting guide. We want the A1C in the 6s, right? 6s and 5s are good. Once you start getting up above that, you're going to get into some sort of rating. Now, that being said, look, we want to know the whole picture, right? We know there's more to, a person's health than their A1C, right? So if they've got a 6.8 A1C or a 7.1 and it's going to knock them down a few levels, we want to hear the story about why, right? So it's a great opportunity, I would say, that, kind of dive in a little bit deeper.
Okay, good. All right. So Terry said, can he get a 65-year-old approved for a $2 million term?
Yep, for sure. Mm-hmm.
And that same process works along with the underwriting as long as they had a physical done, kind of deal?
You know what? I think that's only for permanent. So term, they'd have to go through that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's only permanent products only. Thank you for clarifying. So.
All right, good. So you got that, Terry. So for a term, they have to go through full underwriting with the paramed, because it's doesn't fall.
Right.
Good.
Yep. I'm trying to think of anything else I missed. I mean, I think the thing I wanted to stress, is we've had some success, right? I think if you look back for anybody else, this would be a massively successful year. But quite honestly, I want more from you guys, right? I expect to be better. I expect you to be better. It's the way I work, and I like to be direct. I'm going to be real nice, but look, we're in a business where we're competing, and we've had a tremendous year for anybody else, but you aren't anyone else, right? Y'all are different, and that's a good thing, right? And so, I want to be able to stand on stage and be like, we're number one. We're number one in GFI. GFI is number one with us. Those are the goals moving into next year. Is keep getting better, keep competing like heck, and get ourselves on a platform where I think we belong together.
That's right.
Couple questions I see come up. What's the age limit for final expense? Up to 85. You can go up to 85 for that final expense, which is great. There's a great opportunity there. A lot of people, care about what's going to happen when they pass away. They want to make sure their families, they're not a burden to their family. That final expense can be a great opportunity. Who can we reach out to for small businesses and mutual law? This is another place that we shine. We've got a small business unit. The guy who runs that is a guy named Bill Beckett. I would say channel that through me. I'll get calls set up with Bill. This unit is a phenomenal resource for us. We do business valuations that we don't charge clients for, right? So if a client has a small business and they don't know what it's worth, or they want to know what it's worth, we can do that for them. I got news for you. We don't do that just to give them a valuation. We do that to sell insurance, right? So what we do when we do that valuation, we sell it, or we show it to them, and then we get on the phone and we say, here's some holes in your business, right? You've got a wonderful employee in Tavares there, and we need to make sure that he doesn't leave, right? He's not going to go down to the street to a new competitor. So we're going to keep him on with an executive bonus plan. We've got a number of different things that we can use for executives, and one of them, like has been talked about too, is executive bonuses. Just a quick rundown for what exactly that means, whether it's deferred comp or some sort of executive bonus. There are ways to be tax advantageous and pay an executive, whether it be now or later, in terms of when people are getting that tax break. But we can create tax advantages for executives to get them money, right? So whether that's an executive bonus or a deferred comp plan, we do a ton of it. It is a huge selling piece for us. Again, when you talk about a business, our IUL, we not only have great cost structure, but we also have a guaranteed refund option. So in years 20 to 25, you can get 100% of your premiums back. Now, obviously, we sure as heck hope that the market has outpaced our premium. But what's it say to a client when you say, hey, this company, not only are going to show you the history of what they've done, they're going to guarantee that in 20 years to 25 years, if you want to walk away, if the markets haven't performed, if the world has gone to hell in a handbasket, they're going to give you all your money back, right? That becomes a big piece in our business cases too, because our business cases, they want to know that they can, stand by the carrier.
That's good. So Nate, would you say this is ideal? Let's say if you got a small business that has 50 employees, or maybe they got 200 employees, and they want to maybe set some type of, benefits package up for, a plethora of employees versus just the executives. Would this be ideal?
Yeah. So, where we don't do a lot of, we've got different sides of the company that don't involve, me, that does maybe medical supplements or, different things like that. We don't do guaranteed, GI, guaranteed insurance. Where we really fit like this business, the business we want is that 10 to 20, person business, right? The lean business that's just getting started, or they're really successful. They're just leaner in terms of the amount of people. Once you get into the, Fortune 500 companies, we can certainly do that. But when you're talking about implementing a plan for, 30 or 40 or 50 employees, there's a whole lot more work that goes into that versus, hey, I've got a 15-person company. I really want to figure out how to, get some insurance for the people that, are on the day-to-day, but I want to take care of my executives too.
Got it. Perfect.
And it's not rocket science. Look, I mean, I won't lie to you. We want to work on executives because those are big cases, right? Those are big premiums. Those are year makers for the agent and the company.
Okay.
And so we want to spend our time working on those rather than some of the effort that goes into maybe a larger group of people.
Okay. So since MOO is kind of tailored in that sense, like since talking about big cases, let's say for an average, we have clients who have that 2 to 10 million, they got their physicals done, etc., or whether it's a business case or just individually underwritten. And how long on average have you noticed, if everything of the boxes are checked, how long on average have you noticed that these cases take to go from start to finish and issued and everything?
Well, yeah, we want them out the door as quickly as possible, right? So the thing that we usually are waiting on the longest is medical records and exams, right?
Okay.
So we go through and we go, this one needs an exam. We had a $60 million case that had the exam done. They did all the pre-work, right? They did the exam, got the exam done. They had all the app filled out. $60 million case. It was done in 3 days. Start to finish, 3 days, right? So when people say, and I kind of get a little competitive and personal when people are like, oh, you guys take so long. And I'm going to be like, well, I'm going to push back on you and be like, what are we waiting on? Are we waiting on medical records? Now, a lot of times we can't do anything about a medical record. Your client can. They can call in and push their doctor. Are we waiting on an exam? Are we waiting on a missing question from an app? Right? So for the most part, I would say that we want to live in the realm of 7 to 10 days from start to finish. Realistically, that's going to stretch to about 20. But after 30, we're looking to close the case out. If it's been in longer than 30 days, we need to close that case out or get something done.
Okay, good. So let's say we have a client who sells a business, they sell a business 20, 30, 40 million and they're looking to do something, right? Is that clients you get that MOO likes, or what do you think?
100%. Yep. 100%. We've had some of our biggest cases this year, whether it's an estate plan, we've got, whether it's an estate plan that's a $60 million case. We just did a premium finance case that someone is putting in. The bank is paying a $1.5 million premium each year, and they're going to use it for income down the line. When you start talking about large planning, large case planning, getting advanced markets, our advanced markets want to get on the phone with a client and with the agent. They want to talk through the details and the dynamics of the case, right? So that's why I say when we want to live in that $300,000 express world done in 15 minutes, and we want to live in that big jumbo world, right? We want to live because we know that those clients are rich for a reason, right? They pay attention to all those things. They cross all their T's and dot all their I's. We're a perfect fit for that because our product and our process fits so well into large case planning, whether it's a large premium or a large face amount.
That's good. That's really good. So guys, as you listen, first and foremost, I agree with Nate. We talked about, we need to improve upon drastically in terms of what was done in 2024. And we know GFI, we're not competitive at all, right? We want to be number one in all we do. And it's just a matter of time. And so that's our vision, our focus, our purpose to help and serve more families. Because as you know, every dollar we make is a result of the families that we serve and help. But, we appreciate MOO, like having that opportunity to go express, right? And then also to having that tailored and having that focused attention on even with those bigger cases that, you can move it at an expeditious rate. Long as we cross our T's and dot our I's, working together, we can do it big. This is a big deal. This is really, really good. All right, let me see. Oh, LTC. For the LTC rider, do you need a health license or can that be written without a health license?
Yeah, so great question on the living benefits that come with every product that we don't underwrite for are chronic and terminal, right? So chronic illness is 2 of the 6. You need help with 2 of the 6 activities of daily living. It is an indemnified benefit when it's a chronic illness benefit. So your client's going to qualify for that benefit. We're going to pull out a little bit of cost, what it costs us, and then send them their benefit. Terminal illness, like you guys know, I'm sure a lot of folks have different things. Ours is a 12-month period. If you've got life expectancy at 12 months, we're going to be able to accelerate your death benefit. We also have long-term care rider, not in the state of California, but everywhere else, where not New York. We don't do business in New York too. I don't know if anybody else out there does business in New York, but long-term care rider is a separate rider. That is a pay-for rider, meaning we are going to underwrite it and we're going to charge you for it up front. Okay, so how that works is it's a true LTC rider. It is, yeah, you do need your health license, you do need your LTC CE. You can add that. We underwrite for it, so client can be preferred on the life side and standard on the LTC, and that becomes issued with a contract. If you have LTC, you don't get the chronic illness as well, right? So sometimes people go, well, I want both. They go, okay, do $1 million LTC policy, then do $1 million policy without it, and you get chronic illness too. So we love that idea of kind of adding different policies in there to get the benefit that you need.
Okay. Question came in: is there critical illness on other policies outside of Express?
Yeah, there's a state. Yeah, there's critical illness comes. Let's see here. I'd have to look at the state matrix. Something we could probably find on the website based on different states. I know it's not in California, for instance, but yeah, critical does come in several states.
Okay, got it. All righty, what else was said? This has been awesome. Who's excited about Mutual Omaha? Right? Who's excited to start writing in Mutual Omaha? Right? Start getting cases pushed through ASAP. I believe that you can help 2-3 families before the end of the month is out. I really believe you can do that. Right? Help two families at least by the end of the month. This has been incredible, Nate. We appreciate you, sir. So
I appreciate it.
So one of the things to get into business is, he said something earlier, right? The free business evaluation, guys, is huge, because typically a business valuation, what's your business worth? If you wanted to sell it, what's the valuation of your business? That can easily cost $30,000 and up. And so providing that complimentary service, providing that added benefit, that brings value instantly to your business clients. And then they're going to tell you specifically, imagine Mutual Omaha sits down, they do the business valuation, and then they say, hey, I noticed some holes in your business. You need executive bonuses. You need life insurance. And they're selling for you, right? How awesome is that? So that's incredible. That's incredible. All right. Miss Bridget said something about illustration and quotes.
Yeah, so WinFlex, we use WinFlex Web for our fully underwritten quotes. Our express quotes, you can do them right on the website. But if you haven't registered for WinFlex Web, go to WinFlex Web. You can register, request our products. You get access within a day at least, or at the most. And yeah, it's a great way to get quotes done for you. We will help you on occasion, right? If you need, I need to help running something, we'll do our best, to assist with that as well. Yeah, I would just say, look, I mean, moving into next year, we got a great opportunity. We do want to be number one. We want to make sure that, we're helping everybody and helping you guys grow and making sure that we're adding to your business too. So we are appreciative of what happened this year. It's a great start. We've got a wonderful foundation. Cannot wait to see how many stacks we put on top of this foundation, because I know it's going to be good.
All right. I think another question came in. If a client has a cancer diagnosis, can she pull from living benefits as a chronic benefit if she can't do activities?
Yep. If you 2 of the 6 activities of daily living. Yep.
Yeah. So long as it meets the 2 activities of daily, regardless of the diagnosis, as long as it qualifies for the 2 activities of daily living.
Yep. Exactly. So, well, we appreciate y'all. Happy holidays. Let's roll into the new year. Anytime I ever am in person, come say what's up. Anytime I'm ever on stage, please hit me with the moos. We are fully committed to the plan for next year. And look, there's 91 people. There was, I think, at the high point, 95 people on the call. There's no reason we shouldn't see 95 apps in the next week.
That's right. Hey guys, let's take it up a notch. Let's give a moo. Let's put a moo in the chat for Nate. Moo. Let's put a moo in the chat for Nate. And let's finish the year strong, guys. There's 8 days left for the month, right? Christmas is a great time when people gather, we go to work. right? So it's a great time to talk about MOO. It's a great time to talk about what you're doing for your kids, what you're doing for your spouse, what you're doing for your husband, asking questions. Hey, right? Hey, have you considered a gift that keeps on giving? And what are you talking about? Right? Have you considered a gift that keeps on giving? Right? And you talk about living benefits, and you talk about IUL, you talk about $1 Million Baby, and you talk about what MOO can do in 15 minutes. You can set them up. It's incredible, incredible, incredible. So, guys, this was awesome. Nate, we appreciate you, sir.
Thank
Any
you,
last
Joel.
questions before we go? Any last questions? I think we are good.
Love it.
All right.
Thanks, y'all.
All right. Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
Appreciate
See
you.
you guys. Yeah.
All right,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Let's finish strong. God bless everybody. Take care.
This is your CEO, Eric Olson. We're at the Mutual of Omaha headquarters right now in Omaha, Nebraska.
Tick, tick, boom.
2025 is going to hold big things for both of us. We're very excited to continue working with you guys and growing this relationship together.
Most of the time we do these meetings, you go to the bar and everyone wants, give me a drink, give me a drink. And Mario comes in and goes, all right, I got to talk about a case.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets.
Yeah, it's a lot of into the club tonight. What? But it's gonna be alright. Yeah. Cause me and my clique, we don't give a fuck. Trick Daddy, let's go. If you want it, you can get it. Let me know. I'm about to break this thing up. Let's go. If you want it, you can get it. Let me know. I'm about to break this thing up.
If you want some, come get some. Cause where I'm from, we so big. And everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows something about it. And I won't answer now. Who, what, where, and why. See, a lot of dudes like to act the fool now. Get on live, but that ain't my style.
Because it's not about us, it's about you guys. And we strategically had some of the top leaders and board members of the whole company be here, and then we also had some of the new up and coming rising stars and rising leaders in the company here, which is a big deal. So it's very rare for the president, CEO, and founder, and agency chairman, and field chairman, and global chairman, and advisory council, all here with some of you who just started. That's kind of a cool thing, because we oversee 26,000 people, and for you guys, 5 or 6 of you that are new to be here, it's a big deal.
I was sitting here and we're in this room and the thought that was going through my mind is, what is the next time we're ever going to have an opportunity in such an exclusive circle
Damn right, I like the life I
built.
Very clear with you. Westside 60, shit, I might got killed. Standing so tall, they think I might got stills. Legendary baller like Mike, like Will. 96 Impala, thug like on wheels. Up against the wall, squabble at Fox Hills. Like a motherfucking boss, ask me how I feel.
This is we strengthen our relationship and we go back at everything except you're going to be hustlers.
Grinding all my life.
Wrapping up the year, planning for 2025. I think one of the questions too that you gotta ask yourself is, oftentimes we ask constantly, like, what can GFI do for me? But at the same time, the question, like, we gotta ask ourselves, right, is who do I need to become to make sure that this goal gets hit? Like, who do I need to become for GFI? Who do I need to become for my family? Who do I need to become? Who does that person, like, what person does that needs to show up so that we make sure that we really finish strong and really get the job done?
Hey, we're here in Omaha, Nebraska at the Mutual of Omaha headquarters with some of the best of the best of the best leaders here in GFI. We're taking this Mutual of Omaha partnership to the next level with GFI. We're super excited to finish the year strong. Just went over the outcomes and the goals. And oh my goodness, the future looks bright for all these leaders. So proud of all of you. What a great weekend. Let's GFI and go for it!